And anybody out there in the BWF Nation, if you know a way for us to take your money besides Patreon, please let us know in the comments. We're desperate.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this a long time now. This is the lifetime span of your average podcast is 3 weeks, and
Wow.
and we have exceeded that. We are the elderly when it comes to podcasts. I don't remember a time before the BWF podcast, personally. So you guys have been enjoying us for so long. We've been out here doing ridiculous stuff, putting out things that's borderline racist, but not really, but you're not really sure. We are waxing things off of us. We are humiliating ourselves publicly. It's time for you to give back for all the entertainment that you've been getting for us for nearly 40 episodes now.
I almost died on this podcast for your entertainment. I choked on Tabasco sauce. My throat closed up. I could not breathe. That shit's real.
Free ride's over, folks.
This is the BWF Wrestling Podcast. With your host and the leader of the BWF Nation, the King, Susan Little Babu, the undisputed BWF Champion, Aaron Bishop!
BWF Nation, welcome once again to another weekly edition of the BWF Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, The Bish, and joining us, G. Patrick Condon. My friend, how are you this week?
There we go. Hold on.
There we go.
Aaron, you've never looked more handsome. You've never looked more beautiful than you do right now. It's a new setup. Dare I say, more professional. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's about time, we manned up a little bit and
that's right.
Step up. Yeah, step up the game.
It's beautiful stuff. And I see the photo of you there with Hulk Hogan. That's beautiful. What do we got going on today? How's your week been?
Oh, busy week as always with work, but cannot complain. At work right now is actually the busiest time of the year. It's called wave season. That's where we're selling most of our cruises and stuff like that. So it's just been nonstop. But as I said, can't complain. How's the movie going for you?
Well, today was a day of intense down to the wire. We got the gear shipped in. We got the work visas in for our non-Canadian cast. We have hotels being booked. The money is flowing. It's out of control, but it's in my control. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably going to fire somebody. Maybe. I'm not looking forward to it. But if you don't come up to my expectations, you're out of here. Okay. We're not making a movie together. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And you know what? I had a little bit of disappointing news this week. Yeah, that I was waiting to bring you on the show to talk about. As you know, we're going to WrestleCon, and in an effort to do it, we have applied to so many different funders to get our travel at least a little bit accommodated for. The Canadian government spends so much money on arts, and then we come around, we're going down to WrestleCon, we're promoting Canadian content, we're going to be promoting ourselves, And because it's wrestling and because we're doing a video podcast, they consider this a talk show. And so they don't consider this art. And that's... Tease me off, Aaron. I don't like it, and things have got to change. You know, Bret the Hitman Hart, he says that wrestling is an art form. Aaron, what do you think?
100% it's an art form. How is it not an art form?
I don't know. Well, you gotta get past all that and just convince them that wrestling isn't what they think it is. You know, and this is the other thing that I as explained in all of our applications. Pro wrestling, it goes across generations. As we say here every week, every community has a indie wrestling organization. It brings people here who have wealth. People who are broke can afford to go and see it. It's live theater. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. It draws all people. And I think the Canadian government can't comprehend it. They want the arts to be off and into their own little section where only the pretentious get to watch and discuss all these boring movies that nobody ever watches, all these stupid TV shows that misrepresent Canadians to older Canadians. You know, I don't know who watches it. If you go around and ask anybody outside of my industry what their favorite Canadian movie is, they'll probably say Trailer Park Boys. And that, you know, I mean, that TV show and movie was like, it's been over for, I don't know, like a decade now. So there's no significance. So I'm just a little peed.
That is unfortunate news that hurts my soul. I've never been so disappointed in the Canadian government in my life. Canadian government, you fucking suck.
That's right.
Almost.
Anyways, we'll see now. I think our next plan of attack to get down there is to open up a Patreon account, because this Ko-fi nonsense, people don't like it. We can't offer people anything. But if we get a Patreon going, we can offer stickers, we can offer merchandise, we can offer videos before they're officially released. You know, we can have some tiers and stuff like that. People know Patreon; they trust Patreon. So maybe that's what we'll have to do, Aaron. And you know, by hook or by crook, we'll get down there and we're going to promote Canada, promote Canadian arts, whether the Canadian government, whether the Newfoundland government likes it or not.
Well said. And anybody out there in the BWF Nation, if you know a way for us to take your money besides Patreon, please let us know in the comments. We're desperate.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this a long time now. This is the lifetime span of your average podcast is 3 weeks, and
wow.
And we have exceeded that. We are the elderly when it comes to podcasts. I don't remember a time before the BWF podcast, personally. So you guys have been enjoying us for so long. We've been out here doing ridiculous stuff, putting out things that's borderline racist, but not really, but you're not really sure. We are waxing things off of us. We are humiliating ourselves publicly. It's time for you to give back for all the entertainment that you've been getting for us for nearly 40 episodes now.
I almost died on this podcast for your entertainment. I choked on Tabasco sauce. My throat closed up. I could not breathe. That shit's real.
Free ride's over, folks. Okay? The free ride's over. We know you marks out there got all this expendable income that you're using to buy the WWF network. Well, guess what? Now it's on Peacock. You don't need to spend that $10 anymore a month on Peacock or the WWF network. You can spend it on the BWF network and not even $10, $5. I mean, how broke are you? You're living in your mother's basement. You're not paying rent, that's for sure. The cost of food is going up, but chicken nuggets aren't. They are the same low price.
It's true. That is so true. And you know what? Your money will go a long way. Not only will it, cover punishments and entertainment for you, but it'll allow us to do more interviews like at WrestleCon. Speaking of like that, pricing is insane. Just for an autograph for Sting is $80 US.
Man,
Sting
doesn't need that money. All right. And I got a feeling that these people, they're not going to have any money set aside in their budget for the BWF podcast. I think they're going to put their $80 in to go and get the second thing with Sting. As I'm saying that, I'm looking at the photo with you and Hulk Hogan, but it's not the same. It's not the same. How much did you pay for that Hulk Hogan photo? Now, this is Hulk Hogan. He's the best wrestler of all time. How much?
I don't think I paid that much for it because it was like a SummerSlam question, Q&A kind of thing with him and Jerry Lawler. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It was probably $50 US that got us in there and gave us like a poster, an autograph poster, and a picture with Hogan. So
that's sweet.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
And so, I know that Sting's retiring. There's no retirement fund in wrestling, but I mean, $80 for a photo of Sting. Were you planning on getting a photo of Sting?
I was hoping to get it. I was hoping to get his autograph, but I mean, fuck, I don't know. An autograph and photo, the combo is $150 US, so he's knocking $10 off.
If you get both of them.
Yeah.
Wow. And is it not personalized stuff? I'm sure you can't ask for anything. You just go up and
no, you can bring your own item. You can bring your own item to get signed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sting. Do not cash in on Tony Khan's dad's money that you should be doing it for free is my feeling. Although he'll be retired by then, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyways, look, maybe in a couple of years, we'll be charging people $170 for the privilege of meeting us for a second and getting a photo where, he's going to be like this every time. Like this.
God, I mean, WrestleCon is supposed to be a place where we can all get together, as fans and family, and just be one and not be gouged once in our goddamn life by any, my God, $150, man. Like, how can I afford that? I want to see other people too. Like, people have to pick and choose, like, their icons that they want to meet. And it's not fair, Sting. It's not fair, okay? Be a man, lower your price. Allow everybody just to say hello. Come on. Jesus.
It's true. That's great stuff. Okay, Aaron, that was an impassioned plea. We move on, I guess, now to the news. We go on to the news. All right, what's going on in the world of pro wrestling this week, Mr. Aaron Bishop?
Well, normally we would start off with some Vince McMahon shit or, I don't know, some WrestleMania stuff, but this week...
shit, go on.
This week we're going to start off with a little, segment in a segment called Val Venus is a piece of shit.
We're going there already.
Yeah, we're going to go there right now. We're not.
Tell me what you're talking about here.
So, Val Venus, Sean Morley, these are actual tweets from the man within the past 4 days, okay? Apparently he's found Jesus, he's gone all religious, and then he's just gone all fucking crazy on Facebook here. So as we all know,
which is weird because he was a porno star is his thing. But Vince Russo always said that he gave him that gimmick because he thought that it was the opposite of what Sean Morley was. But whatever Sean Morley's current beliefs are, obviously it didn't stop him from cashing in a paycheck in a previous time. So what was he saying on Facebook?
So just for context, Sean Morley is now very anti homosexual, very anti LGBTQ, very anti everything, very pro Christian, anti abortion. But yet, as we all know, he's still making, he's a Christian, but he's still making money off T-shirts that are promoting sex with porn stars and, stuff like that. But anyway, here's just one of the things that Sean Morley has said within the past week. As we know, Sonya Deville got married to her
yes, very, partner. Very attractive.
Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, he says, I don't know who Sonya and Tony are. All I know is that they will never reproduce. So their bloodline ends with them. Their salvation is tossed in the trash. Only the hand of Jesus can rectify their current situation.
Now, I don't know why Sean Morley really even cares about whether or not these two ladies reproduce. That seems to be a big thing for these homophobes, is that they're saying, I don't got a problem with what's going on, but if everybody was gay, then we would not be able to reproduce. So what did you do? You obviously saw that and you decided you would not do anything about it. You were like happy enough just to read it and shake your head.
Well, he would go on to say, making fun of people without Jesus. He has men in quotation marks without faith in Jesus. Sonya and Tony is a true love story. And then he goes on to say, men who ride with Jesus. Those poor human souls are destined for eternity outside of the kingdom of God. Let's pray for them.
And so what was the response underneath?
And then he would go on to others say, XX equals woman, XY equals man, hashtag facts matter. So this is when I started getting a little bit mad.
Now, why did you get mad about this? Is it because you are so gay that it offended you personally?
No, but just...
I don't think you need to deny it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, so...
Listen, I have lots of gay friends, and just for the fact of human decency and human rights, this guy is a fucking asshole.
Beautiful. I love that. That's a great answer. All right, so I brought up your... yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh, we got it here. Okay, great. Perfect.
Yeah, so you, using the BWF account, not personal. I don't know if you ended it off by signing your name, so who knows?
I did not. No.
Okay, so we're both saying this. What is it? What was your response to him?
My response was, Christians love to preach about loving one another, love thy neighbor, etc., but they are the first ones to judge and damn people who they've never met. Religion has started more war and caused more death in human history than anything else. Go praise your floating spaghetti monster in the sky and keep selling merchandise that promotes sexual or deviant sexual behavior like banging porn stars and having sex outside of marriage. You hypocritical piece of trash.
Nice. Wow.
And also we'll go on to say, if you think believing in a mythical being with superpowers is going to take your soul after you die, and if you think you're going to be self-aware and reunited with loved ones, that's your prerogative. It probably means you're retarded, but that's your prerogative. Remember anything before you were born? No. Guess what? That's what death is. It's nothing. People should be able to choose who they love and want to marry without some batshit insane, overbearing Christian asshole spewing their unwanted opinions at them. You don't like it? You know who else didn't like it? Hitler. Go watch your motocross and mind your own business, because he loves motocross. But Val Venus, you, sir, are a piece of fucking shit.
I mean, those are very, very, you touch upon a lot of stuff. So not only a very thorough takedown, But what I kind of find interesting and I want to get into about is that, so you don't believe that there's any afterlife. You don't think that when you die, anything happens. You think you are an atheist, I guess. Are you?
I mean, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. Become 41 years old, your mind starts thinking about these things a lot more, right? I mean, and I don't know. Do I want to think that there's an afterlife? Do I want to think that there's spirits and stuff like that? Yes, of course I do. I don't want to think that after we close our eyes that's it, we're done. But I mean, if we think about it logically, it's probably going to be just like it was before we were born, just not aware of any existence until we were, and then until we're not. I don't know.
Okay, that's cool. Now, I want to say that no matter what happens in this conversation, Val Venus is an asshole, and I back you fully with this. I don't care if you believe in God. I don't care if people believe in God, but most people don't give a shit what other people are doing, or if people are happy and not hurting everybody, then that brings them joy, which is the way that I kind of look at it. I mean, they're two very attractive women. And that's pretty much all that I looked at that. I was like, wow, those are two very attractive women. And then whatever. But you believe in ghosts, right?
I mean, I want to. It's like I want to, but I don't think so. No, I don't really think there is, but I want to. Okay, I've had a ghost experience, as we talked about before in our audio version of the show. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, man.
The people of this podcast, I think, are going to be shocked to hear your lack of spirituality, because not only is it that you believe in ghosts, but there's also the infamous time that you went to see Passion of the Christ and cried because Jesus did all that stuff for us. Yep. Oh, Aaron, what about all that crying about Jesus at Passion of the Christ?
It's definitely totally plausible and realistic to think that Jesus was an actual historical figure and actually did go through all that shit. So,
okay, cool. Well, all right. Look, I ain't trying to challenge you on anything. I just find it interesting. I myself am 40, young 40 years old, so I don't know that the weight that you hold being a 41-year-old and just seeing yourself that much closer to death. But I've been looking back at the history of the world and fascinating stuff with the Old Testament and the New Testament and stuff like that. And, there's obviously been a lot of foolish things added to that Bible. I don't think, and this is fairly I guess, like, this is not an edgy take or anything, but I think a lot of people have a spiritual side, hope that there is a God, hope that they go to heaven, hope that they get to see the people of their lives again, and that this is not it. They don't like organized religion because of all of the horrible things that it has done. And so this seems to be Mr. Sean Morley's thing, is that he is a man of hate. He's a man of anger. He sees people in love and it makes him upset. And, nobody wants to see that. That's not cool.
No. I don't get it. He spends all day like on his Facebook just trashing people and trashing humans and their decisions. And man, get a goddamn life. You fuck nut. God, I can't even with you anymore. I'm done. Let's move on to bigger and more happier things. I do believe our interview is waiting for us.
I don't see anybody in the waiting room.
Oh, okay. He's clicking on the link, but he's not in the waiting room. Okay, I'll deal with that in a second.
Who is it? Does he know that he's about to come live on air? You gotta tell him. You gotta tell him that when you're chit-chatting with the bish, you're going live on air. Now, Aaron, we established something last week that people have been very happy with us about, and that is our celebration of Black History Month. We talked about Booker T last week. This week we're talking about WrestleMania 14 that has Mike Tyson, one of my favorite black people of all time. Love hearing from Mike, hearing about Mike. But we also have a guest on, and what is it about this guest that makes it appropriate?
This man, Nisipi, he is originally from Africa. His family moved to Canada when they were very young, and he managed to find his way from Quebec over here to Alberta. He started training with Lance Storm to become a wrestler, but since then he has shifted gears a little bit, and now he's training to be an MMA fighter. And his first fight is coming up very, very soon. And he's a good man. He's a laugh. I can't wait to have him here on the show in a few minutes and have a talk with him. I haven't seen him in probably a couple of years, so
that's what you get when you're chit-chatting with the Bish.
Yeah. Nisipi, hey.
Glad to hear you. Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Good. Thank you. Yes, I couldn't hear you guys for a few seconds.
Oh, okay. But we're all good now, yeah?
Oh, good. Yes, we're good now.
Perfect. Dude, good to fucking see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's been way too long, hasn't it?
Way too long, man. Way too long. Let's see them pipes. Let's see them.
Oh, come on. They're not that big.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Here we go. Get a round of applause. Here we go.
Good stuff.
Oh, I appreciate that round of applause.
Oh, so Nisipi, my friend, this is Patrick. I'm just telling him how we met over COVID. We were going we were doing this government-funded program for the unemployed.
Red Deer College.
Yeah, Red Deer College. And we just hit it off, man. We both just discovered our love for wrestling, and boom, here we are. At the time, you were starting to train with Lance Storm to become a wrestler, but now
I got a question before we get into that. How is it that you discovered that you both were into pro wrestling? That you guys were both a fan? How did that come about? Do you remember?
Yes. Well, I actually remember. So what happened was, I remember after class, we all decided to go to the bar, and we had like a few drinks. And on that night, I was going to a show, actually, to RCW in Calgary. And then, I remember when, Aaron heard me talking about it. That's when, he came up, and, he spoke about, how, he also loved wrestling and stuff. And I don't think we spoke much before that, because, no. Because I barely showed up to class, number one. And number two, I barely spoke to anyone. And that day, I just happened to have liquor in my system and a lot of confidence.
There you go. And Aaron his ears are always peeled and open, ready to hear somebody talk a little bit about pro wrestling. And then, boom, he's on you for life. That's how we became friends, actually.
About wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So
wrestling brings people together.
Yeah, it does. We were just talking about that. Actually, it does. It sort of goes across all races, all sexuality, all ages. Everybody. You can see everybody at a wrestling show. So you guys talk a little bit. We actually spoke with somebody, I think, from RPW a couple of weeks ago. Isn't that right, Aaron?
RCW, yeah.
RCW, yeah. Pardon me.
Yeah.
And so take it from there. You had already been training at that point?
Yes. I had been training at that point, because what had happened was I used to train with Storm Academy.
Yeah.
But then I had to leave because at the time I didn't have enough funds to keep paying for it.
Yeah.
And then around that time, just before me and Aaron met, I had gotten with this school. It was called at the time it was called Work Performance Center, and Workhorse Fitness. And then they got in trouble for trademarking Tyson Kid, so then they changed it to Workforce Fitness. Yeah, and then I was with them for a while. And then, for about 3 months, and then I left wrestling for a bit. And then like I remember like at the time when like me and Aaron were talking at that time, I was just going back to wrestling, to RCW, and I had found a new wrestling school called Abeda Wrestling Academy.
And so, how did you get into wrestling? What was did you watch it as a kid, or what? When did you get into it?
Oh, crazy story actually was back when I used to live in South Africa. I had this best friend who lived across the road from me. And at the time, like, we didn't have cable, so I didn't really know much about wrestling. But like, he used to come to my house and call me and be like, Nasi, wrestling is on, and like every time like he come like, Nasi, wrestling is on. And then after that, like, I just couldn't stop watching it. And the crazy thing is he doesn't even watch it anymore.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so is it popular in South Africa?
Very.
Yeah.
Very, very popular. To be honest, I feel like wrestling at one point was probably like the number one most popular sport in South Africa. Because like rugby and soccer are also very popular, but like wrestling was up there too.
Wow. Cool. And so then you moved to Canada. Wrestling is obviously huge here, certainly per capita. I mean, like everybody, you'll find wrestling fans everywhere. So what point are you going like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go to a school and train?
Oh, yes. I believe this was high school. Because like during lunch breaks, I had like these two friends who loved playing, who loved watching wrestling too. They also wanted to be wrestlers. So like during lunchtime, like, like we would go outside and like, I choose a character. I'll be maybe Brock Lesnar. And then like, maybe like he'll be like Roman Reigns or something. And then we'll have a referee. And then like, we would just like, just wrestle outside. And then I remember one of them told me about Storm Academy Wrestling because I didn't know about it. And then like, so then what happened was I had ended up moving to Calgary. So then I ended up Googling it as I was moved to Calgary. And then like, at the time, I didn't really take a look much at the prices, Mm-hmm. Like I thought that like I could just pay 1,000 right now, and then like a month later I could maybe pay 1,000 again. But then like it was like, okay, pay 1,000 now, and then on the first day you get there, you gotta pay $3,500. You know?
Wow,
Jesus!
And then and at the time I think I was like 19 years old, and I was living with my friend and his parents. So I didn't really have the money to fund it.
Yeah.
And like there was like
yes, there's a lot,
and there was like no refunds too. Lance had this the no refund policy.
Yeah, yeah.
So he allowed me to train for like about a month as long as I could gather the money, but I wasn't able to like gather it on time, so I had to leave.
What did that's too bad. I had no idea that it was that expensive to go there. And yeah, like you said, I mean, these are private schools, so there's no support or anything, right? Like it's all coming out of your pocket. How did you find the month? Was it physically taxing as everybody says it was? Like, did you work out and do squats and stuff until you got sick?
No. It honestly wasn't that hard. Because Lance was pretty lenient. It was very lenient. If it's like, okay, like you're struggling or like you can't handle this, it's like work at your own pace kind of thing. It's how I found it. And that whole month, like we were there, we just did basics. Basics. At the time, I didn't even know how to bump correctly, like I was so scared of falling on my back.
Right. Yeah.
So
back bumps. Yeah. That's it's harder than it looks, right?
Oh yes, way harder than it looks. Like, cause if you land that wrong, like it wins you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it wins you.
So how's Lance Storm in real life? Is he actually as serious as he seems on camera, or is he?
Yeah. No, I mean training, yes, but like before and after training, it's all conversations. Like he would take like a lot of time to like tell you stories about his time in the WWE and everything. About Vince, about Chris Jericho, road stories and everything.
Awesome.
I'd love to hear some of
Yes.
those road stories. Yeah, they must be good.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
You never know with Lance, though. I mean, what it takes to get a rise out of Lance might be like, this one time, Chris Jericho, he ordered 2 hamburgers at Dairy Queen. Crazy. It's like, what a wild man.
I mean,
Right.
like on camera, like he's a lot different on camera. Like even from like his interviews, like he's a lot more lenient, a lot more chill. You know, like yeah, on camera, like he's still himself. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like when like it's off camera, it's like it's just like a lot more chill.
A little bit more relaxed. Yeah. That's good.
Yes, way more.
Yeah.
So, as far as other people in your class, were there other like names that we would recognize?
That you recognize. It depends because like out of the people in my class, only one is still doing wrestling, and right now he's wrestling with Academy.
Okay.
Sorry, with Alberta Academy Wrestling.
Okay.
And his name, they call him Danny Mayhem.
Okay.
He wrestled for RCW a little bit,
Gotcha,
but
okay.
he's the only one, as far as I know, from that class who's still wrestling.
Okay.
And then one guy that I trained with him before me and him even met. His name is, they call him Kid Chocolate. His name is Mo. Right now he's doing a few AEW dark shows. He's traveling around the world. But he used to train for Storm Academy Wrestling.
Okay.
But I didn't meet him until I went to Workforce Pro Wrestling.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
So, are most of those people, they're just out of everything altogether? Like you've transitioned into MMA now, and you've been training for MMA. Have any of those other people been doing the same thing as you, or they're just done?
To be honest, I haven't heard much about the other people.
Okay.
But we had this one girl in our class. She was the only female.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy story was I haven't spoke to her in years. I haven't heard about her in years or nothing. And I remember one day I was working for Clean Harbors, and I was all the way in Fort McMurray. And somehow, like, because like there was 2 of us working in the working in each job, because it was like those big trucks, like those class 1 trucks. So I was the labor, and then this one dude ended up being the driver, and it happened to be that like he was that girl's boyfriend that I used to train with.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
And apparently she had transitioned into modeling, and yes, and I believe she's still modeling.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yes.
It's a small world when you're in that community, right? When you go when you're in the pro wrestling world, people know each other and stuff. We've heard like was it Benoit's kid was
yes,
training up there
David
for a bit
Benoit
too?
Yes, David. I got to train like 2 classes with him, and both were at different gyms. One was at Workforce, and then the other one was at AWA Academy Alberta Wrestling. And
yeah, it's strange because you'd think that I mean he appeared on Dark Side of the Ring. It seems like people would be happy to give him a shot, not sort of like hold him down because of what his dad did. But he doesn't seem to be doing anything. Did he? Does he wrestle a lot in Alberta these days, or?
No. To be honest with you, like, it's like, he was born like into that wrestling life, but I don't think it's actually his passion. Because at both wrestling gyms, he only showed up once, and the one time he showed up, like all the cameras were on him, because he basically came with the camera crew. And as soon as he came, I remember at Workforce, the owner of Workforce, Ali, he said, he was like, you know what, this guy is here, and he can get us the spotlight, and everything. So we all have to make sure that we keep him happy,
Wow.
He wasn't treated like a regular student, and I remember he was supposing to stay because we had like a wrestling house. He was supposing to stay with us there, and the things like on that night when he came, we were just having conversations, listening to music, had a few drinks, like not going crazy. And I remember he went to complain to Ali that he doesn't want to be around us if we're drinking and stuff, And then Ali came to us. He was like, I need this guy here, and if I have to kick all of you out, I will kick all of you out.
Wow.
Because
this guy and he doesn't even want to be there, really.
Yes. Yeah, he didn't even want to be there. It's almost like he's just forced to be there because that's his dad's career path.
Yeah.
Glad you brought this up, because we see people online all the time saying, give David a chance. Oh, boo David, this and that and the other thing. And he doesn't even want to do it. He wants nothing to do with it. He's a prima donna. He just wants to live his own life. So people online, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like he... It doesn't sound like he doesn't want anything to do with it. He wants to be treated better without putting any of the work in.
Yes. I mean, because for him, he's got the opportunities that I wish I had, he's got Chris Jericho's phone number if he wants to go to AEW, he's got Natalia and Tyson Kidd's phone number if he wants to go to WWE. Yeah. Wherever he wants to go, he will get a tryout, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that some people, just because of his name, would even be happy to train him for free,
Oh yeah. I mean, your guy Ali, he's one of many that a Benoit name would bring eyes to any school, any promotion, and whatever. So how did you find him sort of personally? Did you find that he, cause it's a bit weird, not weird. It's a bit I don't know. To complain about the boys having a couple of drinks and listening to music, that's a bit of a geek move.
You would think somebody born into the business would, be accepting of the boys having a beer or two after a show or whatnot. That just sounds ridiculous to me. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, personally, he seemed like a nice guy, but he seemed very quiet, it seems like one of those guys that he's one of those guys that you can say hi to him and everything, he'd be nice and everything, but he doesn't really wanna hang out much or actually talk much stuff. It's he wants to be left alone kind of vibe,
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's because of us, maybe because we are not stars or whatever, or if that's just his personality, because I don't know how he is with Chris Jericho or the guys he hangs out with in person.
So, well, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's sort of it's an easier path for him to have success here, but he doesn't want to do it. And there's a whole lot of baggage attached to that as well, I'm sure. But like, yeah, it just sounds like you should probably move into a new career or something like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what is it that made you decide that you wanted to get into MMA and give it a shot?
Give it a shot. To be honest, like me, like I've always wanted to do wrestling, and one day I plan on going back. It's just the issue that I had with wrestling was because like wrestling, it's not like one of those things where like you can actually determine like your own success much, you know? It's more like if they like you, you know, like you can go far, you know?
Yeah.
If they like how you look, you know, like how you speak and everything. And for me, like, you know, like I enjoy wrestling, but the problem was I wasn't like getting like, you know, like one-on-one matches and everything. Like I was seeing people that like, you know, like I know like I'm better than you at this, like you know, get the show before me.
Yeah.
And all they were making me do was just be extras at battle royals, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you know, at the same time, there was like another place that was like a rivalry to AWA, and they were trying to like recruit me, you know. And like I could see that, like, you know, they probably trying to recruit me because like they want to get back at this school, you know. And it's just so much like politics, like, you know, like especially in the indie scenes, like, you know, like everybody, it's almost like they think they are already big stars, you know. Like, so when I transitioned to MMA, basically so I could pick my own destiny, because if I win or lose a fight, like that's on me, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. They can't deny you if you win, and in pro wrestling you don't get to decide if you win or not.
Yes, exactly.
So what does the typical training day for you look like with your MMA?
So I would have like Mondays it'd be like jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai.
Okay.
So they'd be like back-to-back classes.
Yeah.
And then Tuesdays it'd be jiu-jitsu. And like each class is about an hour or 2 hours.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then Wednesdays it'd be like jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai again. Then Thursdays is just jiu-jitsu. And because like that's all what MMA is, right? It's basically just kickboxing and wrestling, you know. So from Mondays to Thursdays I was training, and then Fridays we would have like an open mat where if like you wanna learn extra things, you know, like you can go, or like you see something on TV, you're like, okay, I like that, I want to work on it. And then Saturdays was rest days. Then Sunday was advanced, you know, advanced class where only the competitive people are training, you know.
Crazy.
Yep. Yes. I haven't been training much in like this last month or two. Yeah, because like I had ended up moving to Calgary. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, I still live in Calgary, and I'm working in Calgary at the moment. So like, you know, I was training like for this past because I think I moved in November. Yeah, I moved in November, so I was just training Muay Thai because I went to a Muay Thai gym. And yeah, so, and I haven't went back since I believe December.
Are you patterning yourself after anybody in particular?
Sorry?
Are you patterning yourself after anybody? Like, are you, is there any influences that you're trying to take in your moveset?
Yeah, definitely. Cause I look at the short guys, cause I'm short. Mm-hmm. So I look at Alex Volkanovski. He's having a fight tomorrow, and I watch how he moves, you know, like how he controls the space and everything. I like Alex Pereira too. I stole some of his combos, you know, like he's way taller and bigger than me, but some of his stuff work for me.
Yeah.
And there's just so much. And then when it comes to wrestling, I stole some of Kamaru Usman's moves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So do you have a timeline of when you want to make your I guess like professional debut?
Professional? To be honest, I was thinking going professional maybe at least in 3 years.
Okay.
So yeah. So like until then, I'm just gonna do the amateur fights.
Yeah. Sorry. So have you done any amateur fights so far?
I had one amateur Muay Thai fight.
Yeah.
Which I lost by decision to a much more advanced fighter than I am.
Nice. Well, that'll give you confidence.
Yeah.
But you have one coming up now, right? You have a new amateur fight coming up soon?
Yeah. Well, I got invited to this thing. It's called Ultra MMA. And it's happening in Calgary. So it'd be like my MMA debut. But like this is like a charity event, you know? It's like I would train for 8 weeks for free. And then like, you know, I have to fight for them for free too, because like they're raising money and it's going to charity. I believe Tom Espinel from the UFC is a heavyweight interim champion. Like he's got something to do with that. You know, it's fundraising.
Well, you let me know if you're going to fight because I want to come watch you, man. I want to see you in action, all right?
Yes. I am planning on fighting so far, you know. I believe registration is in April.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I would register in April and then I believe June 17 is the event.
Tell you what, you keep us in the loop here. You let me know everything, and then we're going to bring the BWF cameras to your location, and we're going to film everything. Okay, we're going to document you and your success all the way up. Okay, every step of the way.
Yes, I would love that. And
awesome. Well, it was awesome. It was awesome chatting with you and getting to know behind the scenes of becoming an independent wrestler here in Alberta.
Yes, thank you. It was awesome talking to you guys too. I'm a big fan. I've been loving the podcast that Eric has been sending me. You know.
Nice. Now listen. Now I don't know if you remember this or not. Now this is the flag where Bret Hart has signed, Roddy Piper has signed. There's all kinds of legends on this flag. You remember this right here? Do you remember this day right here? This is you, my friend. This is Mississippi right here.
Nice. Oh yeah, look at
that. Like I signed that like inside the bar too, because I remember you rented the car to go get it, and then I signed it inside the bar. It's cool.
That's right. So you got to make it. Remember, you have no choice now but to make it. Your name's on the flag.
Yes, I will make it either way. I plan on going back to wrestling. You know, one of these days. Definitely not done with it. Because even though I've done a battle royal, I was so over with the crowd, you know, like I was totally over in just a battle royal.
Yeah.
So I gotta go back.
That's awesome.
Listen, no matter what, man, I'm proud of you, man. And fuck, man, it's so good to see you again. Thank you so much for taking the time to joining us, man. It's been awesome. We'll have you on again.
Aaron, like, thank you so much for the invite. Like, I loved doing this.
No worries, man. No worries.
We'll talk to you again soon. Okay.
You take it easy,
sounds
man.
good. You guys take it easy too. Have a good night. Bye.
Conan, such a good kid, man.
Yeah, I really like him. He's willing to talk turkey and get down and say what's really on his mind, you know. And we like that in wrestlers. When we're talking to wrestlers, them shooting. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And for all the people, remember, David Benoit, he does not want to be part of the wrestling world. Stop saying poor Benoit, give Benoit a chance. Put it to bed, put it to rest. You heard it from the man himself, Mississippi. Benoit wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we never heard it from the man himself. We heard it from somebody that was close to him.
And his word is good as gold as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I believe everything that he says. I don't see any reason to think otherwise.
No, me neither.
Now, Aaron, I think it's after a nice look at an up-and-coming African athlete, it's time for us to maybe transition into talking about another African athlete that really lit the wrestling universe on storm. You know what I'm talking about?
Who would that be, my friend?
Well, back in WrestleMania 14 times, we got to see Iron Mike Tyson finally in the World Wrestling Federation after years of speculation.
Yes, he was originally supposed to be part of Saturday Night's Main Event back in 1990 when Hogan and the Macho King were fighting each other. He's supposed to be the special guest referee, but he got knocked out by Buster Douglas. It was a shock all the way around the world. Nobody saw it coming. So last minute, Vince decided to pull the old switcheroo and get old Buster Douglas in as a special referee, and Mike Tyson was outed. So fast forward, this is 8 years later. Mike Tyson has recently bitten the ear off of Evander Holyfield in a boxing match. Mike Tyson, there's no other polarizing name in the news media at this time. And this is the beginning of the end of WCW, because after this point, the WWF, they just took off and did not look back.
So on this Black History Month, BWF celebrates Black History Month with a look at WrestleMania 14 and Mike Tyson. It's the new theme for the Chronicles, probably updated to have a different look now that we don't have the class and elegance of a Masterpiece Theater. Aaron. Get us going.
Everybody. All right. As we just mentioned, it's time for the Chronicles. So everybody out there, smoke your chronic, pack your bowls, and let's go. It's
you're
time.
going in a different way. You're going in a different way. I'm going like this. This is what I'm thinking, like this.
Right, yeah, no, I'm going the other way. Oh, Jesus.
Good. I think it sets the tone correctly.
It sets the tone, yeah. All right. So, yeah, here we go. We are on the road to WrestleMania 14. HBK, Shawn Michaels, is the champion, but he's hurt. So he's not doing much physicality on the way to Mania. So here we have Vince McMahon in the middle of the ring. He's about to introduce the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson, to be, at the time, the special guest referee for WrestleMania 14. What happens next is stuff of legend. Here we go.
In just a moment, we will make the biggest announcement ever in World Wrestling Federation history.
Ever.
However, wow.
Right now, Vince McMahon is still acting like he's a good guy.
To you a man who is simply the baddest man on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, Iron Mike Tyson!
Promoter voice. When he turns it on, man, he can talk you into the building, that's for sure.
He can, man. That WrestleMania 3 voice, you know, that promoter voice that you said, yeah, Vince, and he wants to, he turns it up.
I remember at the time watching this and not even being entirely sure if Tyson wanted to be there or knew what was going on. He was calling Stone Cold Steve Austin Cold Stone. It seemed like he was just unaware.
Oh, he's Mike Tyson. Yeah. But it turns out the man's actually a huge wrestling fan. I mean, just absolutely huge. He watched the product since he was a kid. He even name drops Bruno Sammartino here in a minute. I mean,
he's looking good. Yeah. Iron Mike's looking good.
He is, yeah. Crowd doesn't know what to think.
In the world right now, he's already been convicted for rape. He's a convicted rapist. He's bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. I think people look back at that match a little bit differently now, but at the time, he was thought of as a monster, this criminal thug.
I'm just happy to be here.
Who are some of your old-time favorites in the WWF?
Here we
Bruno
go.
Sammartino.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Don Leo Jonathan as well?
Nikolai Volkman. Man, I go way back from the 70s. I'm just proud to be involved with this.
All right, now, ladies.
Clearly kissing his ass right here. The presentation is authentic.
Yeah, man. It looks good. Anything can happen in the WWF. And that so much never rang as true as this night right here. Who would have thought that we would have seen Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mike Tyson get into a scuffle? I mean, like, this is just, it's so good. It said Eric Bischoff is on record to say this is where he knew WCW was in trouble.
The presentation of this is really good too. Like when Stone Cold comes out, like they do play his music, which breaks a little bit of it, but like he's just followed by all these people that are trying, all the people in the back that you don't know who they are right now that are so it gives like, they didn't know he was coming out. They don't want him to come out.
It's interesting.
Iconic calls. And it's awesome. I mean, the way that Steve Austin is being dragged out of the ring here, it's taken so many bodies. Like it's like if a press conference, like when you see a boxing press conference, go off the rails and there's just people there in the ring. It has this air of believability. And I've been thinking about this since 4-bit. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the latest press conference that we saw, which was the Cody Rhodes, Rock, and Roman Reigns WrestleMania thing. And that was good. But I feel like it was missing the touches that, say, Vince McMahon might have brought to this. And I'm being serious here. I'm not leading to some joke. But and again, like, I'm happy to see what they're doing, but I would have liked it if like Cody came in through the audience, or if there was a bunch of people chasing after Cody when he came in to unexpectedly break up the press conference.
Yes. Stuff like that. The little touches like that, the nuances. You're right.
Yeah, just make it look a little bit more authentic like this, because I mean, even looking back at this now, it's so well produced and everybody's doing their thing. And we'll see even Vince right now, I believe you said he thinks he's babyface, like in real life, he thinks his character is the good guy. And so, his reaction to Stone Cold is especially angry in a way that we pretty much only know Vince to be now. But at this point, it was one of the first times we'd ever seen this on camera.
Yeah, like the actual raw emotion from Vince, like almost sad in a way. Like he's so sad and angry that Austin would do this to him.
Yeah, you ruined it, damn it!
Ruined it.
It was like you had gone too far this time.
Exactly. Yeah.
He said that off the mic too, but he had the mic there, so he knew that it was going to pick it up, but he wasn't saying it into the mic. It's just those little things like that.
Those little things, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot different than Cody being backstage and like hitting the microphone and then going, "Excuse me, is this?" and then just like coming up. And again, I really like this, and especially after seeing the Rock's stuff from last night, we're seeing classic Rock. As we'll see here, The Rock, I find that The Rock from SmackDown is more similar to The Rock from Mania 14 than even Hollywood Rock, really.
You think, okay, I was going to place it more like 1999 Rock, but yeah, maybe between the 98, 99 in that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's certainly not Hollywood Rock.
No, it's not Hollywood. It's Bloodline Rock is what they're calling it. It's Bloodline Rock.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Speaking of which,
he's only ever really.
Sorry.
I was just to say he's only done this one promo now where he's doing the insults. He's insulting the fans of Salt Lake City, and I'm curious, more than curious. I'm excited to see where he goes with this.
Yeah, we were mentioning earlier in the news that we didn't really give a fuck about the tag team match, but now that we've seen the promo from SmackDown and the way The Rock's acting, and I don't know what's up with the gun. You see that when he raised his hand up, he went like this instead of doing the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a bunch of little signals that he's doing, so we're being Easter egged along the way. So it's going to be kind of interesting. I hope they do have some sort of stipulations on the tag team match that have ramifications for night 2. But either way, we'll have to wait and see for that stuff. Right now, it's WrestleMania 14.
Yeah. Yes. And to still say that even, Seth Rollins is the weak link here. I need to see in this tag match what's
he's probably going to turn. He's probably going to turn.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to go through the card. This is a bit of a different one. We've only done this on a couple of occasions where we just kind of go through the night of WrestleMania 14, which, as you were sort of said before, the time of when the Attitude Era begins is really up for debate. Some people say maybe a year beforehand or whatever, but for certain, the Stone Cold Steve Austin era is beginning with this WrestleMania.
Absolutely. Just a few months prior, WCW had the biggest buy rate of a pay-per-view of all time with 150,000 buys with Starrcade 97. This WrestleMania here would beat that with 157,000 buys and become the most successful wrestling pay-per-view up to this point.
Amazing.
And before we start, we got to say thank you to Wrestling Bios for doing these videos for us. I don't have the time to put these things together. Nobody got time for that. Wrestling Bios does a great job. So thank you so much, Wrestling Bios, for allowing us to use your video. Yes. Words.
So we are, before we go through the card, and of course this starts off with the infamous DX national anthem. WrestleMania 14, as a card, maybe even including what it means, where do you place this in the near 40, in the 39 other WrestleManias? You had top half, lower half, top 10, bottom 10, right in the middle? What do you say?
Probably right in the middle, honestly, right in the middle. Because it was a historic night. We had a lot of good storylines culminating, and we have a lot of, just cool things like Undertaker and Kane. So, I mean, it wasn't the best WrestleMania, but it wasn't the worst by any stretch of imagination. So, yeah, right in the middle.
I think it, as we go through it, I'm looking at it here now, the Kane and Undertaker storyline, that's been going on since Bad Blood, is it? Or the Hell in a Cell. So that's
or even
been
before
going
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, right. Yeah. It's before Kane even debuted. And then the Stone Cold stuff obviously had been going on with Vince for quite some time. And then even, the undercard, as everybody is inclined to say about Mr. Vince Russo, is that everybody had something to do during this time. And I would even say that the things that they were doing were interesting. It wasn't just something. It was something unique, something interesting.
Absolutely. And they actually, we start the night off with the DX band. They're going to do the national anthem. Here they are here now. Apparently this was so bad that they've deleted this and cut it out from all future iterations of the WrestleMania 14 broadcast. So we'll never see the national anthem ever again on that telecast.
Yeah, it's an interesting time in the cultural zeitgeist where you got guys wearing their hats backwards like Zach De La Rocha ripoff. Jim Johnson is playing the guitar here.
Jim Johnson, the guy who made all of the theme music for the WWF for years, he's playing the guitar there.
There he is. And he's way older than everybody else, but much like myself, he is rocking the backwards hat, which shows that you're cool. It's an easy way to tell people that you're cool, that you're hip. But at this time, it was the late 90s, it was an anti-hero kind of thing. So going on and making a mockery of the national anthem was, it was kind of cool to do it. It was pre 9/11, right? So this influx of American nationalism had gone. It would come back with a vengeance. And so in between the Hulk Hogan USA stuff in the early 90s, we had this sort of chunk of time where people were kind of cynical and people liked the bad guys and America, what have you done for me lately, you son of a bitch? And so I think that might have been the mindset of throwing these guys out here to do a shitty national anthem. I digress. Yeah, we could talk about this for an hour. We start off with, it looks like a tag team match here, Aaron.
It's actually a tag team battle royal, Patrick. 15 teams. Maybe 14, I don't know. Either way. It's
getting the boys on the show.
Yeah, it's about 12 teams of shit and filler and about 2 or 3 actual good teams. But this is all made specifically to feed the newly revamped Legion of Doom. Just to make them look strong. They had to throw a fresh coat of paint on the presentation, as the WWF has never known what to do with the Road Warriors. And here we see, again, their attempt at trying to make them relevant. And it just did not work, but they would go in to win this Battle Royal. And it was actually a good feel-good moment for the Boston crowd.
Yeah. I always thought that the WWF never really were able to capture the coolness of the Road Warriors like they did, like they were in the NWA and WCW. They're a little too overproduced. Now that's not to say that the shoulder pads and stuff, they marketed the shit out of that, but they put them with Rocco, the ventriloquist dummy. It was very, I like the Paul Ellering thing, but the dummy is weird. You know, they got the masks. Sonny's there. I don't think they ever really got it.
No, they had about one good year, the Road Warriors. 1991 is probably the only good year they've ever had in WWF, and the rest of it was just, I don't know. But then again, Hawk had his demons too. You know, they're supposed to win the tag team championships at SummerSlam 92, and Hawk just got fucked up on drugs and alcohol the night before. Couldn't perform in the ring properly.
He didn't have Bret Hart with him like David Boy Smith.
No, they didn't have a Bret Hart with him to wrestle, so they got thrown on I don't know, like the dark match or something like that on a 6-man tag, and he got fired immediately after. So
wow. So now we see, what is this? The Cruiserweight? What were they calling this title back in the day?
Right, the light heavyweight championship. It makes no fucking sense. Light is so. Isn't that like an oxymoron? The light heavyweight.
Yes. No, you're right. It's true. It's a good point. Good call.
Stupid.
It is quite dumb. So, but who do we have here? We have
Takamichi No Clue.
Oh gosh, and who is he facing?
Jesus Christ, I don't even know. Aguilar? Is that his name?
He looks like Jushin Thunder Liger. It's not him though, is it?
No, it's not Liger. I think it's Aguilar. Pretty sure. I could be wrong, but yeah, I digress.
Again, speaking of not knowing how to present, the WWF was never really interested in presenting these guys.
No, and say what you want about WCW, but they knew what they were doing with their cruiserweight division. They presented it really, really well. It was one of those, actually, their division carried the show for quite a few years. But yeah, the WWF, man, they just couldn't grasp it. I don't know.
I mean, it's well documented how little interest Vince has in foreign workers too, unless they're the heels. So, like, you got Taka there, and you got a masked guy. It was like he never. It's so weird that they would. That's the juice that they put behind their pay-per-view match.
Yeah, really weird dynamic. But no, Taka was a free agent that was being scouted by WCW, ECW, all the major promotions. And I guess Vince was just like, I'd rather have him on my roster than him not be my roster. I don't know. And they just had to do something to build around his gimmick and his character, but it just fell flat. And speaking of falling flat, here we have The Rock talking to Jennifer Flowers. This is not a very good promo.
It's not. It's quite embarrassing. But this is why his stuff from last night at SmackDown kind of reminds me of this, because he still has the kind of cheesy, cringy humor. I can't remember off the top of my head what he did at SmackDown, but I think he might have said everybody had genital warts or chlamydia or something, or something
classic
like that.
Rock. Yeah, classic Rock.
Yeah. I mean, if the society hadn't changed so much, he'd still be calling people hermaphrodites and, this and that. So, but as of now, you can still go in on people for having STDs. So that's what it'll do. Rudy Poo.
Rudy Poo.
Now, I was going to say that one of the things that WrestleMania 14 lacks, I think, and the reason why it's not in that upper tier is that it never had like a classic, not even work rate, but just a classic good match. And this match here with Triple H and Owen Hart, I thought probably would have been the best chance that they had of having a really good match on this card.
They probably should have. I don't know why this match wasn't better than what it was. It just, as I mentioned before, it just seems like a meh match. They're not really going all out. I don't know. The main, probably because the main story, the focus around this is China. So I don't know, but you're absolutely right. There's not their work rate match that you like to see at WrestleMania. It's unfortunate, but China in this, she's handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter because all during this feud, these guys have actually changed the belt back and forth a couple of times. Hunter Hearst Helmsley got the European title from Shawn Michaels when Shawn laid down for him. Owen Hart beat him, and then Owen Hart had a kayfabe injury where he fucked his ankle up and he was wearing a walking boot. China took a baseball bat, hit him in the leg during a match with Triple H. Triple H won the belt back. So here we are. Here's a rubber match. China is chained up to Sergeant Slaughter, so she cannot interfere. The match is okay. It's decent, but it's just not.
I mean, and this seems like it's got, again, it's a storied match going in here. A lot of feud, a lot of blood, and it's almost like there's a Triple H curse when it comes to his big blow-off matches at WrestleMania. It's just, they're always like, I
did enjoy his WrestleMania 17 match against Taker, but it's not very many. You're right. There's not many Triple H Mania matches that are actually really good.
Do you think his WrestleMania 17 match with Undertaker is his best of the three?
No, I think the Hell in a Cell is probably the best match of the three.
I think it's 17. I obviously that false finish with the Undertaker is the best moment in all of them, but I'm not a big fan of Triple H and Undertaker's matches. I don't think that they should even be included in the Shawn Michaels Undertaker matches of WrestleMania. I don't think it's in the same league. I don't think
they're not even close.
I don't even think it's top 5 Undertaker WrestleMania matches, and Undertaker's has some bad WrestleMania matches.
Honestly, I would put Taker's Flair match over a lot of Triple H and Taker matches. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
So we see here China, the whole thing was China is chained to Sergeant Slaughter to prevent her from interfering. And of course, she interferes, and that's how Triple H ends up winning. Low blow, blah, blah, blah. He walks out of there with the European title. China, at this point, probably the coolest she's ever been. She'll be bigger, obviously, and more popular, but this is probably her coolest. She's not talking. She doesn't have a whole lot of work done, and she's badass.
I just realized maybe they didn't have a big thing for that Owen Hart Triple H match because the very next night on Raw, Triple H was going to become pretty much the leader of DX. Well, he did become the leader of DX, and he was going to become a good guy, become face. And was DX, were they a face right off the hop after WrestleMania? No. Or no, they were heel first and they morphed into face, right?
It's hard to say because I'm not even sure what you would call DX. They're heel WrestleMania onwards, but before then, I don't know because it's 97. They're back and forth.
X-Pac returns the next night, and I guess they're I would call them face from the next night on Raw on. Absolutely.
It's for sure their face era. I don't know how quickly it turns if it's with the immediate introduction of X-Pac, but so we have China who has some things going for her at this point. We have Sable in this match, who is also taking off really, really hot at this point, hot physically. But that's about it, Bish. What do you think about Sable? What's your thoughts on Sable?
Can't cut a promo, can't wrestle. I mean, is she even that hot? I mean, she's okay. All right,
Bish. Okay, sure.
Sorry,
Sable. Sorry, Sable. Bish says no way. Back of the line.
You get back there.
And if you're not good enough for my buddy Bish, then you're not good enough for me. So that's 2 thumbs down for you, Sable, from me and from Aaron Bishop.
Honestly, I thought she was hotter in 2003. That era.
She came back. Yeah, she was smoking then too. Yeah. But the Vinces loved her, pushed her, and she was over pretty big. And then she got naked too, which was pretty good. I mean, we never got it with Sunny. Now that moment has come to pass, but we got it with Sable, and thank God. And I think even with her complete lack of talent, charisma, its talking ability, she was a smoking hot act. Like, people were paying to see her. She had, she was on the cover of Playboy. She was huge. Helped the WWE get pushed up to that sort of pop culture standard that they were at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. People loved her, man. She popped the ratings. And this storyline here, I don't know, there's really not much to go over in this match. It's just pretty much 3 heels in Sable. Sable gets her moment with the power bomb there. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Not the very best WrestleMania match of all time.
No, and that's kind of the theme of the whole show. It's not the best match of all time.
Not the best match, no.
So we get Sable. Yeah, no, you're right. She's not attractive at all, Bish. Good call. Good call.
I don't understand.
All right.
My notes sometimes.
And we got Tennessee Lee's.
Tennessee Lee, yes. Almost forgot about Tennessee Lee. Yeah, him and Jeff Jarrett coming out. They're going to introduce The Rock.
Oh, is that Jennifer Flowers with?
That is Jennifer Flowers, yeah.
Right, one of Clinton's things. And so I'm surprised that Jeff Jarrett's here. It's hard to really keep track of where Jeff Jarrett is at any point in time.
Oh my God, I know, man. It's crazy, right? He was hopping back and forth between WWF and WCW. Like, almost every year he was going back and forth in between the promotions, it seemed.
Yeah. So we get here The Rock, as you said, and Ken Shamrock.
Yes, sir. Now, we should actually do a deep dive on this. Oh, I love that chair shot. We should do a deep dive on this feud one of these days. But these guys, they started feuding around Survivor Series 1997. Then they made it to the Royal Rumble 98 where they had a match. And now this is at WrestleMania 14 for the Intercontinental Championship. And these guys wouldn't even stop there. They would keep on fighting throughout the entire year. They would fight at King of the Ring 98, where Shamrock would win the King of the Ring. They would even have a match at Survivor Series 98 at the Deadly Games tournament. So these guys would have literally a year-long feud that would actually, in my opinion, make The Rock.
Yeah, for sure. And it's strange because Ken Shamrock comes off kind of dumb, has a certain charisma about him. It's kind of crazy. But I think that that helps The Rock in a couple of ways. Number one, Shamrock's completely cool with getting smacked in the head with a chair, which makes The Rock would go on to do that many times to many people.
He just did it again, man.
He loves doing a chair smack. Chair shots, and it allowed The Rock to really be as charismatic as he possibly could, because he wasn't really. He was carrying the charisma baton in this. Shamrock would just come out and sort of scream or whatever, and then The Rock would get to say his sort of rockisms, and it's a sort of a pairing like peanut butter and jelly, really, two different flavors coming together to make a great combination.
Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Good stuff. But yeah, so the finish is, Shamrock is here. He has the ankle lock on The Rock. He will not let go. He does win the Intercontinental Championship, but because he doesn't let go, the referee reverses the decision.
And again, just another example of he's kind of, it's like Macho Man jumping over the top rope at the 93 Royal Rumble.
Look at his face.
He's just kind of dumb. Like,
yeah.
And then so they're carrying the Rock out and he throws him off. This is pretty good. This is pretty fun.
It is good. It's good stuff, man. This is probably the best stuff on the whole pay-per-view, honestly.
Yeah.
And Taker and Kane. This is the best right here. Good undercard. No, I keep forgetting the dumpster match. So yeah, you know what? WrestleMania 14.
Are we seeing a change here now before our very eyes?
I'll put it mid to upper. In between the mid and the upper. What do you call that? Mupper?
Yeah, sure. The Mupper. So you're placing it in the top 15 perhaps?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, the dumpster match, which is classic as well. I mean, this is a match that AEW recently would reference a lot and do in tribute with Billy Gunn's boys being involved. They had that Raw that we spoke about where they stopped the show. It was really cool. Another one of those things that they were doing at this point, like that Mike Tyson stuff, where it was like, what's going on here? This doesn't seem to be
part of the show. Is it real? Right. Yeah, exactly. You can always, Nation, you can always go back and listen to our Terry Funk audio episode because we go into this into more detail. But yeah, they do on the stage on Raw, they put them in the dumpster, they shove them off. You just said the show stops. We have wrestlers out there. Sonny's crying. The commentators aren't saying anything, and it makes it seem like this is not part of the show. And this dumpster match in WrestleMania is really good, and it gives Terry Funk his WrestleMania moment that he deserved, quite frankly. And Foley and Funk would actually win the tag titles here.
Yeah, and you know, right before I came on here, I was watching a clip of Edge and one of his promos against Foley to get him at WrestleMania. And he says to Foley, "You've never had your WrestleMania match. You've never won at WrestleMania."
But yeah, he won the tag belts with his mentor. Like, I mean, it's got to be very meaningful for Mick Foley. Yeah. This is a cool spot here where they tip the ladder over and they go straight into the dumpster. Nice. Boom. Yeah.
I mean, and now if they do that, and thank God they do, you see a bunch of debris coming up, but there's probably hardly any. There's a couple of cardboard boxes in there.
Yeah, probably that's about it. Yeah. And they head backstage here, and man, poor Terry Funk. After this match, you'll see he has a big injury, like a big fucking bruise the size of, like, it's all over his body. It's all purple and black. But yeah, they win the match here with the forklift. Remember that? They pinned him with the forklift over the dumpster.
Classic. And this predates the Hardcore Championship too, but you would see a lot of these things sort of
shenanigans, I guess you want to call it.
Yeah, become sort of commonplace with the hardcore matches that they would have at the pay-per-views.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, it was a good finish. The guys went over. How long did they hold on to the tag championships? I got to feel like they may have lost them even the next night. Do you remember?
They did lose them the next night. Yeah.
Okay, that's not a surprise. Back to the Guns, or back to the
New Age Outlaws. Yeah.
There you go. And then I think we're going on to probably the second biggest match of the night. Undertaker and Kane, like we said, this started, I guess, over the summer of the previous year. What are we going to do with Undertaker? And this is a character in a storyline that had the rare cooperation of Jim Cornette and Vince Russo in coming together. Pretty damn good job, I would say.
Even Jim Ross had his few ideas thrown in there too. So yeah, it was just a mixture of Vince, Jim Ross, Vince Russo, and Jim Cornette. So everybody was all in this together. Even Pat Patterson had some input on this. So very, very important storyline. As you mentioned, it was started well over a year before Paul Bearer would come out on Raw and saying that Kane's alive. Undertaker believed that his brother was dead for all these years. Kane would make his debut at the Bad Blood pay-per-view. They would go on to form an alliance, shortly formed an alliance until Royal Rumble, where Kane would turn on the Undertaker.
Right. Kind of a casket. Yeah,
set him
sort
on
of
fire.
sort of a remix, sort of the Bret Hart Owen Hart kind of thing, right?
Kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Just with fire.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It's supernatural
Attitude Era.
powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so here we see the first appearance of Pete Rose too.
Pete Rose, yes, sir. Yeah, he would come out and he would badmouth Boston, and Kane would give him a picture perfect pile driver
I
that
can't
would
believe.
pop the crowd.
Yeah, I can't believe that Pete let him do it. How many
I
other
can't believe
times
it
would those two interact with each other?
Three
Wow,
WrestleManias in a row. Yeah, and here we see Undertaker in his very first elaborate Undertaker entrance for WrestleMania. Looks really good, actually. Looks better than most of his entrances that followed him. Honestly, it looks just cool. I don't know. This looks cool. The Druids with the fire. What more do you need?
Well, a lot more, because it would only get more intricate after this. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He really didn't need to do anything beyond that. But nobody, for all the things they've ever said about Mean Mark Calloway, discretion on entrances is not one of them.
No. Now I've been.
That was cool. I don't remember that moment. You see that where he puts him down and he sits up right away? It was nice.
Yeah, that's good shit. I mean, this match, I've been on record saying that I kind of like this match. Is it the best match? No, but I think it's the first, very, very good first match between these two to set off the rivalry. What do you think about this match?
I think that it never gets better than this. I think the storylines and the characters really do not get better after this. Everything makes sense going into it. You see a lot of finishers being spammed at the end of it. That would go on to be pretty commonplace, but I think the aura of it does a lot. I mean, you look at Undertaker up on Glenn Jacobs' shoulders there. He's moving around. He's doing good. Would I put it above the Triple H matches? I don't know. How about you?
No, I wouldn't put above the Triple H matches.
Okay, well, there you go, folks. But yeah, I mean, not a bad match. Lived up to the hype. I kind of always wanted Kane to win here, but I mean, the rewriting of history that would cause, obviously it's not worth it, but
Honestly, Kane probably should have won here.
Yeah.
Honestly. But yeah, no, you're right. The streak, I mean, if the streak didn't end the way it did, I don't know.
It's so many what ifs, but
so many what ifs. You can't even go into that rabbit hole. You're right. But yeah, really good match here from the guys. I think Taker, he did his bumps, he did his dive over the top rope into the announce table. Got some tombstones here. They both kick out of.
Yeah. Cool.
Got some good drama.
Hey, God love Glenn Jacobs. Last time we would have seen him would have been in our Jerry Lawler episode where he was a dentist. So I mean, this is the gimmick that he latched onto and made a career out of.
Yeah, good for him, man. Here we go. Yeah, there's that leap over the top rope into the announce table. Yeah, boom. He got some height on that, man. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Look at the Spanish announce guy slowly falling down the back. That's pretty classic.
It's a good match.
Yeah, it's got its moments for sure. I mean, look, maybe this pay-per-view doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Maybe it doesn't.
Another reason why maybe it doesn't is the main event. And as we are about to go into it, as you mentioned before, there's a lot of hype going into it, but Shawn Michaels is hurt. And as a result, he can't really work the same that way that Shawn Michaels is known to do. And perhaps that's the reason why this match is the main event is kind of a foregone conclusion. But the hype going into it, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
After Stone Cold flips the birds, Shawn and Hunter bring in Mike Tyson to be part of DX. They rip off the shirt. He's wearing the DX, and then he's doing he always does
sucking thing. Yeah,
doesn't do it right, And you're like, this guy doesn't know what's going on, and he's just sort of barely aware of where he is. And that's sort of the I don't want to jump back, but I forgot that Kane ends up going out on top in that match.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of Taker post match.
Okay, so he gets his heat back. Anyways, but it's so you got Tyson, who is arguably maybe the highest profile. Well, not arguably, it's definitely the highest profile person in the match. Stone Cold, though, is the most popular, and then the champion, Shawn Michaels, doesn't even need to really be there, really, right? Just he's there to do one thing, and that's lose.
Do the job. Yeah. And wrestling lore, there's a story goes that Shawn was doing Shawn Michael things and did not really want to put Steve over that night. And he was, threatening not to do the honors. So then Taker started taping up his fists and getting ready to take matters to his own hands if need be. Shawn would eventually do the honors, as we see here. But yeah, Taker was getting ready to make sure that Shawn did the right thing.
If I was ever in a predicament where the Undertaker was going to beat me up, I'd just play his theme music and let him spend 10 minutes walking around to it.
There you go.
That's
smart.
That's how you get out of that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they would go on to have many classic moments after this, but yeah, that story sort of shows that there is no love between Undertaker and Shawn at this point, but Shawn has got to go out, do the business. It's the last time that we would see Shawn in 4 years after this match.
That's right.
And he doesn't, I guess, get to give the match that he wanted to. I personally always thought that this is the match that Bret should have been. Like, all things considered, this should have been the match where Bret passed the torch to Stone Cold.
Yeah, it should have been, but here we are. Oh, do you remember that press conference? That we got to go through that promo one time. Do you remember the one where the DX is swearing every other word is like,
yeah,
oh shit, goddamn, yeah.
Pretty good.
That's classic. Yeah.
Those guys are like in their late 30s at that point. It makes me feel not too bad about us doing this show, really.
Right? Yeah, they're our age here doing this shit. Yeah.
So they bring out Shawn to the DX band. He's looking like $1 million, even if he's not feeling like $1 million. And then Stone Cold comes out. He gets his pop. I mean, and I think again, this is why maybe this WrestleMania is not in the contender of, say, even a top 10. Top 15 is not bad, but the main event is sort of rudimentary, foregone conclusion. Nothing, no real spots in it to really talk about.
No, they did all they could do with Michael's injury. You could tell Michaels was hurting this whole match. He just, he's grimacing, he's holding his back. He's visibly in pain, and he's not selling it. He's actually in pain. So they do what they can do. Tyson, gets his spot at the end. I mean, it is what it is. You're right. It's not the best. It's unfortunate because we were so used to seeing Shawn Michaels perform at such an elite level up to this point. Just freak accident, man. That Royal Rumble 1998 match with The Undertaker, the casket, he did a back body drop over the top rope, and his tailbone or something just had managed to hit the corner of the casket and just screwed up his vertebrae. It's so unfortunate.
Now, let me ask you, Shawn Michaels, classic Sook. Do you think he was as hurt? I'm not doubting that his back was messed up here and he was in some pain, probably needed some time off. But do you think that he saw the writing on the wall, knew that he could not throw hissy fit and keep his spot like he did with Bret, and so he took his ball and went home under the guise of being retired, unable to compete anymore?
I mean, it's possible, but he was gone for 4 years, so he could have legit that he was finished. 4 years is a long time.
It is, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just Shawn is, going through a lot of drug stuff here too. I mean, certainly he came back a lot better, a lot healthier. He got saved, better person. An argument that people will have for a long time is what era of Shawn Michaels' career is the strongest, up to this point, or when he came back in 2002. What say you?
Probably 2002.
I'd say so too. I think
don't get me wrong. I love 97 Shawn Michaels, 96 Shawn Michaels. I just love the way he moved around in the ring. But I think his best work came from 2002 onward.
He doesn't have the matches, the same sort of classic matches. Even just sort of off the top of the head with his return match, and then even just the 2 Undertaker matches. Those are probably his top 3, compared to everything up to this point. The Hell in a Cell match is really good in this career, but like you got sort of ones that are not classics, like his Iron Man match with Bret. Yeah. He doesn't really have this, but he does have the ladder match though at WrestleMania 10. So, I mean, that's a classic match. Great career overall. But
what say you, BWF Nation? Put in the comments. What's better, the pre-Attitude or the Attitude Era Shawn Michaels, or 2002 to 2000, whatever the fuck it was before he retired? 2010, I think it was.
Way to get that engagement. What is the better Shawn Michaels?
Yeah. What is the better Shawn Michaels? Tell us.
Nice. That's engagement, folks. We're getting you engaged. Why don't you tell us? We don't know. We want to hear from you. Aaron, are you going to read what people say?
Absolutely. Next week, we will read all comments. And
no. I mean, in your personal life, are you going to read and respond to it?
Oh, yes, of course. I'll respond to any comments. And
That's
if you do leave comments, you'll be entered to win, which we'll show later, our beautiful BWF/NWA replica championship belt.
Wow.
That's how you do.
Whew. Okay, there you go. Wow. So
here you see Austin doing his bump, getting a wedgie.
Oh, nice bum there. Steve, this is not the Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13 either, right? He's since had his neck injury and would go on to have most of his matches post neck injury would be brawling matches like this without much in the way of spots, just sort of like tumble, rough and tumble, punch fests,
punch, kick, throw,
stunner. Which is a shame because maybe in a year, like if it was a year previous, if it was a Mania 13 before both these guys are injured, who knows what kind of a match they would have. Is there any match? I know that they had the whole tag team, partners that they didn't, they shouldn't have been tagged up together, reluctant partners, if you will. Did they ever fight one-on-one besides that?
Besides that King of the Ring pay-per-view? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Mike Tyson comes in, quick count. Thank God he hit his one spot they had to do, 1, 2, 3. Then showed that he was cold stone the whole time. Punches Shawn Michaels in the face. According to Shawn, that was real. And according to Shawn, this was very upsetting when Tyson put Stone Cold's shirt over his knocked out face. And that's the last time that we see Shawn Michaels for a while.
Yeah. He would come back as Commissioner Shawn Michaels.
Right.
At some point. Yeah. But yeah, Shawn, he had a lot of personal problems and he would be very sporadic until he returned back in 2002.
Nevertheless, from beginning to end, good pay-per-view. Certainly for this time and place, one of the better WWF pay-per-views up to that point. I mean, I'm just trying to think, like, the 90... Yeah, like, what do you think? Like, probably this is, like, as good as they get for the next number of years. This is the WWF pay-per-view formula.
I mean, yeah, you look at the pay-per-views in 1997, the in-your-house stuff was starting to get a little bit better, but it still wasn't there. SummerSlam 97 was really, really good at the time. But this WrestleMania 14 pay-per-view, this just goes above and beyond anything the WWF has done up to this point. It would set the tone for 1998. SummerSlam 98, they had a lot of good stuff going into that one as well. The big four pay-per-views, they were all on fire in 1998. the best pay-per-views would come probably in 2000 and 2001.
Yeah,
I love those pay-per-views.
Quite some time, and Austin's not a part of them, right? He's off getting his neck surgery at that point, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So this is sort of the formula that you would see going forward, where it would be the Stone Cold main event, where it's storyline, shenanigans, brawling kind of stuff, and then you would have your sort of longer intercontinental matches. You would have your hardcore dumpster matches, literally and metaphorically, and a couple of women matches where they show off the goods, and that's essentially the Attitude Era.
That's it in a nutshell. Absolutely. But yeah, that's a good pay-per-view. I'm glad we went over it. Before we leave, everybody, for this week, I just want to tell the nation, of course, please head over to BWFWrestlingPodcast.com. No, is it BWF Podcast? Sorry, head over to BWFPodcast.com. Look at all of our archived episodes, and please write us a question. Write a comment in the YouTube, and you'll be entered to win this beautiful BWF/NWA championship belt that we are going to draw live at WrestleCon this year. It's going to be fantastic, my friend. I can't wait.
It is. It's good. We're not begging, but we are kind of begging.
Yes. Give us some engagement, folks. Come on.
So there you go. So another week, another great episode of focusing on Black history and wrestling. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again next week. Aaron, what say you to the people on our way out? What's your have you figured out what your going away message is yet? Your outro?
No, not really, but I will say head over to our YouTube channel, The Hunting Party, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave the comments, write us an email, get entered to win the belt, and until we see you again next week, I will steal a line from Casey Kasem. Everybody, keep your feet on the ground and reach for the stars. Until next week, cheers.